What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's Horror Fan 34, and welcome to another video, and welcome to another review for the 31 Days of Horror Challenge in October. Still sticking with the 80s here, still in the 80s section here, and I think we're going back a little bit further to 1980 for this one. And I figured this would be another good one to talk about when it comes to body horror movies. And this is coming from one of my personal favorite directors in horror films. And I think this is definitely one of my favorites of his. It's not my personal favorite, but it's definitely one of my personal favorites of this director. And of course, that review is going to be on this film, Scanners. Now, Scanners, and I think it was 1981, but I think this says 1980, so for the sake of it, I'm going to say 1980 or 81. Once again, directed by David Cronenberg. This was David Cronenberg fresh off of doing things like Shivers and The Brood. And then this was a few years before this. A few years after this, actually, he would later do Videodrome. And then after this would be The Fly, and then much later on he would do History of Violence, Naked Lunch, all those kind of movies. And then a few years after this too, he would go on to do The Dead Zone the same year as Videodrome. But Scanners, I mean, for people who don't know what the film Scanners is, basically it deals with, you have this brand new scanner looking guy, this empath guy, played by Stephen Lack, who plays Cameron Vale. He's recruited by this professor guy, played by Patrick McGoogan. And basically, there's this underground thing of these psychic power people that are killing people, and the head of them is what's his name? I forgot the character name, but it's led by Michael Ironside. And basically he's got to stop Michael Ironside and things like that. Now, I say that there are two good things about this film that stand out for me personally. Well, actually three things, actually, for me personally. The first thing that always is the best thing about this film is the head explosion scene. And for people who have seen parts of this film before, the head explosion scene is probably the most famous scene in the whole movie. And I know that actor before. I forget the actor's name, but he was in Of Unknown Origin with Peter Weller. That's the guy whose head explodes. That's easily the best scene in the whole movie is the whole head explosion scene, which is a really well done scene. Also, too, Michael Ironside as your villain. Surprisingly enough, he's not on the back or anything like that, because it only shows Patrick McGoogan, Jennifer O'Neill, and Stephen Lack on the back here. But Michael Ironside does an excellent job in this as your villain. He's cold, he's calculating, and I've always really enjoyed Michael Ironside as an actor. I think he's a good character actor. Even in something like The Next Karate Kid, I thought he was pretty damn entertaining in that movie. But even though sadly it was a waste of his talent though in Next Karate Kid, but I digress. But Michael Ironside, really good actor. I think this is definitely one of my favorite roles. Would I say I'd probably say this is my favorite role with Michael Ironside, because I really enjoy Michael Ironside and a lot of other stuff. Also really enjoy Stephen Lack as Cameron Vale as our hero. There he is right there with Jennifer O'Neill. I thought he was really good. He's very likable. You feel for him. I also really like Jennifer O'Neill as the female sort of scanner woman who is helping out Cameron Vale. And a lot of really crazy sequences in this. There's a really cool shootout scene where a bunch of these guys are shooting guns at this other car, and people are getting their arms blown off and things like that. And another thing too, the gore effects in here are extremely well done. I don't know who did the effects in this. I don't know. It doesn't say on the back who did it or not. But the gore effects in here are extremely well done for 1981 or 1980, however you want to put this. And Also, too, what I really liked about this film too is not only the head explosion gore, but other bits of gore. Like, there's a point where this guy's like, Michael Ironside's looking at him, really like getting into his mind, and like his chest starts bursting out blood, like in this part of his chest, and blood starts leaking out. Pretty intense scene there. There's a point where Jennifer O'Neill gets like a nosebleed and that sort of thing. Like, also, too, I forgot to mention in the cast too, you have Lawrence Dane as like this evil executive guy. Lawrence Dane, that's a guy you've seen in a bunch of films. I think he was in Bride of Chucky. He was also in Rituals with Hal Holbrook as well. He's in here as in a supporting role. So you got a good cast in here. But I still easily say Michael Ironside, though, is the standout of the movie for me personally. But now, when it comes to like David Cronenberg things, I probably say this is my fourth favorite of his, behind The Fly, Videodrome, and The Dead Zone. They'll be my top 3 favorite Cronenberg films. This will probably be number 4, and then History of Violence probably 5. Because I really do enjoy this movie. It's a pretty solid body horror film. You got some nice gore effects in there. I like the characters. I like the cast, especially Michael Ironside. I also really like Patrick McGoogan, Lawrence Dane, Stephen Lack, Jennifer O'Neill. You get some intense sequences in this. I thought it was very well directed as well by David Cronenberg. And overall, I mean, it's not. I mean, what more can you say about Scanners that hasn't been said before? It's easily one of the best like body horror films out there. But for my personal favorite like body sort of horror film, I still lean more towards Videodrome in that sense, or The Fly. But The Scanners is still a very solid one. So that is pretty much it for my review for Scanners. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.